Hi there, Glocal Citizens. Welcome back to the podcast that inspires a borderless mindset around manifesting a new world. I'm your host, Florence Adu, and as you can hear, I'm outside today. I am on one of Ashale Botre's major thoroughfares. So we're in the East Legon, Medina, Adenta region of Accra, Ghana. And I'm meeting with a very special gentleman who his name translates to one step at a time. Because life is a journey, and his has taken him across the globe. In his journey, he has led an 8-piece band producing a unique, upbeat, and invigorating Afro-Reggae sound, co-mingling Afro Beat, jazz, old school reggae, and African funk high life all together. He is open for acts such as the late James Brown and Hugh Masekela. As an activist musician and builder, he is translating items typically thought of as waste into functional works of art. And that's where we are. We are at a place called The Ark, and we're going to learn more about what my guest Zoh Zoh is doing. And Zoh Zoh, yes. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank you.
So let's get started with my first deep dive question, which is where are you from? Where are you local? Yeah. And what is your craft?
Okay. So my name is Zoh Zoh. My original name is Boateng.
Yes.
But Zoh Zoh is my artist name. That's the name I have been using around doing what I do. I'm Ghanaian. I'm from Ghana. I'm half Ashanti, half Ewe. I always say I'm the best mix. Yeah, the reason why I say the best mix, that will be for the next interview.
Okay. I'll challenge you on that one, but okay.
Yeah, okay, that's why it will be for the next interview. Yeah. I'm currently based in Ghana. I live in East Legon, but where my craft shop is, what I call my workshop, is based out of Oyibi, close to Dodowa. That is where I actually go and do stuff. But I build Ghana-wide. Mm-hmm. I will not say Accra-wide. Mm-hmm. I build Ghana-wide. Depending on where the work takes me, I go there and I do my job. If I can't come there too, I can always build and then always, send the stuff to you. So I build Ghana-wide, and that's what I do. For now, I'm a wood builder.
Okay.
I use wood as my main thing, as a frontliner, even though I work with different types of waste, but wood is my main thing.
Okay.
I transform, I take dead wood, and I give them another life.
Okay. Wonderful. In a world where waste and we're in this climate change conversation, it's good to know that there are people who are actually taking an active role, transforming what we once thought of as dead. Because when you say dead wood, I'm like, yeah, it's always alive because there's a new life in it. So I like that about you. Okay, so tell us more about your background. So you are now local in Ghana, but you have traveled all around. So tell us more about your journey from Ghana and back again.
Okay. So I left the shores of Ghana at the age of 25, 26 there. But before I left here, I was a teacher. I was a trained teacher. I was a school teacher. I taught mathematics and social studies. And I was teaching in a little village, so maybe 4 hours away from Accra. So after 3.5 years of teaching, I decided to venture into the world. I'm a bit adventurous. Even when I was in Ghana here, at the time when I was a teacher, I think I had by then traveled to almost 8 regions already, which most Ghanaians don't do.
Very true.
Most Ghanaians don't move around.
Very true.
If they're born in Accra, they live in Accra, they die in Accra. So I've been always adventurous, and I'm always interested in knowing things. So one of my first West African country that I went to first was Benin. I went to the Voodoo Festival in 1999, and that was an awakening type of story for me to go from here to another African country that was different from Ghana, speaking French. They speak Ewe, but the Ewe is not the Ewe from Ghana because they speak Fon. So when I came back to Ghana, I always wanted to also now, cross the ocean. So I left here and I went to the last country in the world, which they don't like to hear. They call it down under.
Yeah.
Counting from the bottom, they are the first. But
Okay.
they say they counting from the bottom, they're the first. The sun comes out in a town called Gisborne before everybody else sees the sun. So they say they are the first country in the world.
Okay.
Anyway,
If they say so.
that is where I ended up in New Zealand. So I went to New Zealand to go and study. That was the dream, you know. And I went to school over there. I did my first course that I was doing was marketing, and then I did first semester and I didn't like it, and I changed to international communication. So when I was reading international communication, I read psychology, read community development, read interpersonal communication, a lot of papers like that. But somewhere along the line, the life was not what I thought. The plans I had, whatever I was thinking of to go and do, was not the same. It was tough every day, just trying to stay there, just trying to integrate, just trying to live in a place that is not yours or that is not your home. So I couldn't get money to continue my school anymore, and I had to drop out of the uni. I dropped out of uni and then decided that, okay, what am I going to do now? So I went into a small little village and I became an apple picker. Somebody who was a teacher over here, you know. I'm not saying that I was having the best of my life, but I think at that age in Ghana, I was a teacher at the age of 21 and I was having a good life.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
But then now find myself to be working in an apple farm in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that triggered my brain big time.
Sure.
And it made me to start to now rewrite the story of how Africans think of the other side of the world.
Because not all roses.
Yes,
Yeah.
because we thought the grass was greener on the other side of the world.
Yeah.
And every story, every magazine, every television things that we used to watch tells the story of the other side, that everything was super.
Yeah.
But this is where I am now. I became an apple picker in the middle of nowhere. When I say middle of nowhere, it is really middle of nowhere. If you can Google that town, it's called Napier. Napier is 7 hours from Auckland. In Auckland, at the time, 2003, 2004, you can count the number of black people. You can count them. So you can imagine going to Napier. Napier is like if you are there and you are a black person, you can be seen from miles away. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes.
They haven't seen many.
Yeah, so I was there for 3 good months.
Okay.
And I couldn't make the money either to come and pay my fees. Because I was going to go make money and come and pay for my fees, but I couldn't do that either. And I used to work from 6 a.m. in the morning and close 2 a.m. the following day. And I used to ride a bicycle everywhere. I covered 25 kilometers with bicycle everywhere. So when I started my music journey over there, my first album, if any New Zealander is listening, if they go into the archives in New Zealand, you see that my first music is called Nomadic African, and there is a bicycle on it. That is the story.
So how did you discover the musician in you? So you're picking apples, it's
Thank you.
rough,
Yeah.
and now you're like,
Yeah.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
There's a beat that's drumming somewhere for me. Is
All
that
right.
it?
Yeah. Okay. So I left the shores of Ghana with a wood piece, which was a drum. The reason why I left Ghana with the wood piece is when I went to Benin for the first time for the Voodoo Festival, it had an awakening spirit in me. So when I was in Ghana, I had always been interested in drumming as a child. But when I came back to Ghana, it intensified the drumming now in me. So I was more interested in African tradition, African culture, learning things. So I was learning drumming always. So when I was going to New Zealand, I told myself that the first thing that I can take with me, that I can use to tell my story, will be my drum. So I had that drum with me. And I had my first job at the same uni to teach drumming and dance.
Ah, okay.
But it was a part-time job.
Yeah.
I used to be paid $70 an hour. But $70 an hour, maybe you think only 2 hours in a week.
Sure.
So the money was not enough to keep me going.
Sure.
So I developed a little music network in Auckland, and I was teaching people. But it is breaking grounds with an African story in a place where Africans don't have a foundation. So it's like you are going to be teaching people African music where people have not actually even seen black people before.
Yeah.
This is the first time of coming into that closeness with black people.
Sure.
So as much as people were interested in it, they were still being held back.
Yeah.
So I wanted to teach and also make something out of it, but it wasn't easy. So breaking out of the school to go to the apple farm was to find a way to make a quick bag, make a quick money to come and pay for my fees. So now when the tough, when it get tough over there, I was like, no, I have to go back to Auckland.
Yeah.
Go back to
the
Auckland.
plan, yeah.
But going back to Auckland, I still had my music network a little bit over there. So I went back to Auckland. When I came back to Auckland, I joined a band. I had by then joined the band before going to Napier, but the band were not making much. So I came back to the band, and I was a percussionist in the band. Now at this point, the school, I had to put it on the side. I have to find a way now to live in the society. Remember that when I was living here, I had a hope to go and make a life for myself. So I didn't have a plane ticket back again, you know. So when you decide to come back, how do you come back?
Sure, yeah.
You're gonna walk,
Yeah.
you're gonna fly. How are you gonna do it?
Yeah.
You know. So I was stuck.
Yeah.
Yes, and I had to find a way to just continue the life.
Sure. So let me ask you this: did you go there on a student visa?
I went there on a student visa.
And so, how did that transition? So you
I went on a student visa,
yeah.
and then I changed from student visa to a working visa.
Okay.
From being a student and now working with a band.
Okay.
You get what I mean? So the band people helped me to now transition from student visa to a working visa.
Okay.
Which was not easy. That is a whole paragraph on its own. Whole different story on its own.
Sure.
Yeah, whole different story on its own.
Yeah.
But cut long story short, so I became fully now involved with the music. And I started developing all the music talent in me. Everything that was hidden in me was coming out. Now I have to go read, I have to go and do stuff. Then I started getting into schools now. The story was getting out there that there's this African dude that teach African history, teach African music, you know. So I was doing that. So I did that for 14 years.
Wow.
But in the process, I went back to school again.
Okay. So what did you pick up this time?
I went for radio journalism. So
okay.
I'm a radio journalist by training.
Okay.
I went to New Zealand radio school.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it. So did you have a radio show there?
No, I was thinking at that point that if I leave New Zealand and come to Ghana and I get to my old age, what will I do?
Okay.
And how can I impact society?
Sure.
So I decided to go for the radio course because I was doing international communication. So I did a transfer of credit.
Yeah.
To make me to go into a course that I can do that will be the same, so I don't have to go and
start all over. Yeah.
So I went for radio journalism.
Okay.
And I just put it in my pockets.
Sure.
And I never use it.
Sure.
So I'm a radio journalist behind the scene.
Okay.
Yes.
I gotta look out. You might come.
Something that I never really talk about. But when I walk into radio stations and stuff like that, and I see their setup and a lot of things. Yeah, I know what's up.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's fun. That's fun.
Anyway.
Okay.
You continue.
Yeah. So then, how did you come back to Ghana? How did you come to be, back?
Yes.
What brought you back?
14 years was a long time. So at a point I became Kiwi, They say Kiwi. If you live in New Zealand.
Kiwi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kiwi.
The other nationality.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you have to become Kiwi. If you want to survive in the society, you have to integrate. So I became Kiwi. Africa was calling me every day because I felt like I've gained a lot of knowledge and my skills were not practically needed in that part of the world. It
Yeah.
was needed in Africa.
Yeah.
So I came to visit. As part of the visit was for me to try and transform the music scene in Ghana. So I came
So,
first.
what was the transformation that you were looking to?
I was saying that our music from this side of the world was not telling the story of us. It was trying to tell the story of other people.
Okay.
So the copycat was too much.
Yeah.
That, almost every young dude over here was trying so hard to be a Black American rapper.
Sure.
And the content of their lyrics does not even relate to nothing here. So, and they forgot about instrumentation too. So everything was so synthesized.
Yeah.
So
the
a computer.
machines, the beats machines.
So I wanted to bring a new face where instruments were being appreciated and our indigenous instruments were being appreciated as well, so that we can bring back some authenticity.
Yeah.
So when we go on the world music stage, we can tell a better story.
Yeah.
Because I came to Ghana from a TV sponsored show from New Zealand, where we were supposed to take some people from here to New Zealand to go and perform. So I came and we did the whole kind of documentary and all stuff like that. But when we went back to New Zealand, it didn't take off. And it was because they were trying so hard to be something that they were not.
They didn't bring their authentic selves.
Yes,
Right.
and so it was very hard to import Ghana music, to come for musicians in Ghana and say, come and go and play on the world stage. You couldn't take a Ghanaian artist and put them on a world stage to tell a story. There's not many of them because they don't have a story to tell. So you take a typical example of Hugh Masekela. When he's on stage and he's singing, he's telling the story of South Africa.
Yeah.
He's telling the story of apartheid. There is a hook line as to why you want to listen to him. But if you look at the modern Africa now, right down from north, south, and east, west, center of Africa, there's no musician who can hold a microphone and tell a story of their village through their music. They can't. It's only few people that will do that, and those ones are not being appreciated. So we are consuming products from the West where it doesn't actually build us as people. So my music that I was bringing here was to retell the story, change the narrative, let us feel like we have something that is good as well. But when I came, the passion that I brought is not the same for the people over here.
They weren't interested.
They were not interested. And in Ghana, there are no music festivals.
Until recently.
So you couldn't even showcase your act.
Yeah.
Unless you book for venues, which are very expensive. So I keep spending money and not getting it back. And the musicians don't have money either. So I couldn't continue. I was like, I'm a message musician. If I was going to sing to impact people and the people are not ready, you can't keep writing because I have to write based on inspiration.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So if you are not inspired enough, you
Yeah.
can't come up with stuff.
Yeah.
So I did a little bit, try hard, so that I can push it. But it didn't work. So I went back to New Zealand again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went
So
back.
you tried it, you dipped your toe back at
Yeah.
the motherland, and then...
I went back. And then, but when I went back, I still didn't really, I felt like something is missing. Yeah, I felt like something is missing. So I decided again, you know what? Yeah, let me go back again. But when I was coming back, I came in 3 times. The last one, when I was coming, I didn't know what I was coming to do. But I was tired of New Zealand too.
Sure.
I had packed my things. I don't have a permanent house anymore. All my friends know that Zoh Zoh is going back to Africa. Some of my friends call me and they say, you know how the story is. A lot of people think like Africa is a war zone in the Western world. So if you are going back to Africa, you're gonna be eaten by some gorilla or some monkeys will be slapping you from left and right.
A lot of the white world does
Yes.
see that.
Yes.
See that way.
Yeah.
I went to a yoga retreat in Bali, and there was a German man, and we came from Ghana. So it was a group of us from Ghana, and we were a diverse group. There was Italians, there were different types of Africans, And he really was like, oh, they have yoga where you came from? And we were shocked. So to your point, yeah.
And you can imagine that New Zealand was New Zealand is like the last country in the world, and very far away from a lot of people.
Yeah.
So you can tell there's a lot of naive people over there.
Yeah.
Not for sometimes genuinely, but not knowing anything about Africa.
Yeah.
And you don't even know where to start a story from. So they call you on the phone and say, I hear you're going back to Africa. What happened? You're gonna be killed, man. You know, they're gonna shoot you.
Right.
I saw it on the TV.
Right.
There's war over there.
Right.
So you can imagine all that.
Yeah.
But I'm going in my head, no, there's no war there. You know, to some people, you couldn't even say you are from Ghana. They say, where in South Africa are you from?
Sure.
And then you say, I'm from Ghana.
Yeah.
And then they still ask you, which part of South Africa is Ghana?
Yes.
And then you say, no, Ghana is a country on its own. It's in West Africa. The guy still asks you, which part of West Africa is South Africa? At this point, you know what? Then you keep moving.
Yeah.
Because you can't explain
you
anymore.
Gotta keep moving, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had packed up my stuff and I'm coming back to Ghana, and I couldn't say I'm leaving there again. I was like, I'm coming to make it here. So I came back to Ghana. That was my third time that I came back to Ghana.
Okay. And that was the charm. Okay. All right.
Yes.
So before we talk about what you're doing very specifically here in Ghana, I want to take you on a Glocal Speak journey. So this is where I ask, what do you hear? So it's where I ask you to share a word or a saying that is a meaningful part of your local experience, and why or how you came to value it as Glocal Speak. So it could be something that you picked up from New Zealand, something that you value here in Ghana. What would you call your Glocal Speak?
I think one of the things I pick up is, hey bro.
Hey bro.
Hey bro, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, hey bro.
Okay.
I say hey bro a lot, and it's not Ghanaian thing.
No.
But hey bro is New Zealand.
Yeah.
Bro is New Zealand.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey bro. Hey bro.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we say.
Okay.
So I say it without not realizing. Sometimes I say bro, then I'm going, oh, this is not. I didn't say Charlie, you know. I say bro. They know what I mean though.
Yeah.
But I'm asking myself, okay, yeah, you know, it's New Zealand thing. You know? yeah. So that has become part of me.
Okay.
I think probably I have a lot of things that I say that I don't even realize. But hey bro is hey bro, hey bro, hey bro, hey bro, hey bro, come, hey bro. I say bro a lot.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that is something I pick up from New Zealand.
Okay. All right. Okay. So now let's talk about the woodwork.
Yes.
So you said you came back to Ghana and you didn't know what you're going to do.
Yes.
So then how did you find what you are doing?
Yeah. Well, I think with the wood story, I think I don't know whether I want to say is like it's another mystic world or something that probably I don't have words to actually even, you know, spell it out or tell, but I'll tell it the way I feel it. My last time of coming to Ghana, the third time, and my second time, I asked my sister, what else do you want to do at all? Because anytime I come to Ghana, oh, I've been to air hostess school. Oh, I've been to this school. Every time she has a story of some school she's been to, but I never see her working. So this time I called her, the second time I called her and said, tell me, what do you want to do in this life?
Yeah.
If anybody gives you the free will, you know, what do you want to do in this life? And she said, I want to be a chef.
Okay.
So I said, okay, all right, no problem. You want to be a chef? So should I take you to chef school? And she said yes. So I said, okay, I'll take you to a chef school, and I want you to graduate as a chef because I wanted to give her something to be doing. So I wanted her to tell me what she likes to do. So she went to the chef school for a year, and then she finished. So when I came back my third time, she's completed the school. So she said, oh, I finished the school. I said, you finished? He said, yes. So, okay, what are you going to do now? Oh, I want you to look for a job for me at Golden Tulip. She was mentioning all these big restaurants. And I said, nah, you know what? This neighborhood we live in here, by that time we used to live in Clagon.
Okay.
This neighborhood we live in here, there's no food. So you start cooking from the house. And let me see how people will like your food. And if they do like it, then I'll do something for you.
Sure.
And she said, okay. So she started cooking. So first week, bang, food was gone. Second week, bang, food was gone. I was like, oh, okay. That means people like your food. So I had by then, my first time, second time coming to Ghana, I always see wood waste lying around.
Yes.
And not really knowing what I was going to use it for.
Sure.
Because it was never my field. You get what I mean? Yes, you know. But I always saw it and it was always very beautiful to me. And I was asking myself, why is that wood lying down there? Nobody's using it, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess it's also because of my experience around the world, my adventure, and living in New Zealand and seeing New Zealand as a typical wood country, that wood was used to its fullness. Yeah. But I never realized that it was playing up on my subconscious mind.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told my sister that I want to do something for you. I'm going to create a table, okay? Then you can put your food stuff on it, and then you can sell. So she said, okay. So I went out there. I'm not a trained carpenter. I'm not a professional carpenter or nothing. But I have this inspiration in me that if I call one person closer to me to come, who could possibly design that thing like that.
Yeah.
So I went out, I called this boy who's a carpenter, and I said, oh, bro. Yeah, bro, yeah. Yeah. He said, bro, do you think we can go and get some pallet over here and come and use it to build that and that? The guy said, oh, no. Can use that one. I said, do you know what I'm talking about? He said, yes. He said, oh, is it not the wood they used to cover the open gutters? Is that not what you're talking about? I said, yes. I said, we can use it. He said, oh, no, Rasta, we don't use that in Ghana here. Your story is different. Let's go to the timber market and buy blah, 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 blah. And I said, okay, don't worry. You know, let's buy this one. Me, I'll pay you.
Yes.
And show you what I want. I'll pay you. He said, okay, if you like it, no problem. So we went there, we bought it, came and did the first table. So when we did the first table, I told him that, can we sandpaper it? He said, no.
Why?
Because, you know, me, I'm done. I don't sandpaper this. You have to look for some people to sandpaper it.
Oh, okay.
I said, bro, sandpaper it, add some value to it. And he said, no. So he didn't do it. So in the neighborhood there, I looked for some boys, you know, and I gave them a sandpaper. I said, you can use your hand, sandpaper it.
Yeah.
You see, when I was a student, I did a lot of hustling. And the hustling, I work at the construction field. I work as a cleaner. I did all sort of odd jobs. But those odd jobs I was doing at the other side was teaching me a lesson.
Sure.
That was the University of Street Life.
Yeah.
I was graduating, but I didn't know that I was graduating. I was thinking that I needed the graduation really from the school.
Right.
But I needed the graduation from learning in the system.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot of things without not realizing that these things play a bigger part of the thing.
Yeah.
So I said, some people, I said, no. I remember my first job when they gave me a sanding machine on the wall. I nearly fell down.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
So I taught this guy to do this. He will not do it. But finally, I got him to now understand the piece.
Yes.
And then we work on it.
Okay.
People walk past and see, and then they go, oh, my sister is calling now. Who did this for you? Oh, my brother. Oh, this is beautiful. Oh. This is where the story started. So one piece, from one piece to another.
Yeah.
So I started developing myself. I started learning myself.
Sure.
And I'm asking myself that if this is taking off, then I have to keep going. I can't stop. But what made the story to be bigger was when I did my first mobile cart as a drink cart, because we were living in Klagon and the house was not ours. I needed to create something temporal that my sister could use to sell juices and drinks. And then when the time comes and say, landlord say move,
you could
carry our things and go away.
Yeah.
So I made that cart. and there was a guy who was going around in Ghana taking pictures for the New York Times. And happened that me and my partner now, we met him at La Villa Boutique Hotel.
Okay.
And we were talking over there, and Nas said to the guy that, oh, this is my husband, he likes to create different unique things.
Yeah.
So you should go to his house, he has something over there.
Yeah.
And the guy came to Clago to take pictures. I thought that, it's a joke, because I thought, okay, he's another white boy who is in town trying to take some photos of some stuff,
Sure.
Yeah. You know what they do,
Yeah.
They like taking photos.
Yeah.
I know they're listening, but it's true, Yeah, they like taking photos. So yeah. So the guy came, took his photo, went away, and I asked him, oh, so what will happen? He said, I don't know. All I'm doing is I'm going to the whole Africa and I'm submitting the photos to New York Times, and they're going to choose which one they like. So 3 months later, a friend of mine called me from New York and said, bro, you are in the New York Times. And I was like, shit,
Okay.
I'm not in any local newspaper over here, and I'm in the New York Times. So I never looked back.
Yes.
And I told myself, this creation is mystic. This creation is a gift. My brain has never stopped creating since then. My brain has opened, like you know how you open mega files and the files keep opening like that.
Yeah.
And it hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
And it has opened, and I have learned, and I have learned, and I have built so many different types of things. In Ghana, wood was not the story. Concrete
Yes.
is the story.
Right. Yeah.
But when I brought this little piece of wood, if you go around Accra now, 90% of almost every outdoor type of setting you are seeing now is now becoming wood because of what I brought into the system. People have changed their style.
Right.
And so
And the pallets are no more cheap.
they are no more cheap. I can't buy it myself.
Exactly.
They're very expensive now because the demand is gone up.
Exactly.
But the idea, the story is not only even about the palette. The story that I want to tell now, it is for all Africans to wake up, to find another diverse way of living a life.
Sure. Yeah.
And also to make good use of their own wood. There's timber in Africa, but Africans don't see the need and don't see the value. All our timbers leave our coast and they go to the other part of the world.
Right. Yeah. Mostly. Yeah.
So palette is just the first phase, but the real phase is to bring wood technology into Africa.
So that's a definite mindset hack. So I have a mindset hack question.
Yes.
And that is, what is your favorite or an innovative mindset hack? This is one that you practice, one that you know of, or one that you can imagine.
Yeah, I like to drop myself in the center of nowhere, where I don't think many people know me, even though I know people know me. But so let's imagine like I go to Masekela and I sit in a corner somewhere and just watching people go past, walk by. That's me. That's me. So I can be a loner sometimes.
So then how does that transform you?
Okay, so what it does to me is when I see a group of people walking and coming, for me, I see all of them, everybody, like in a jail, okay? And the jail has been break loose, and everybody has a problem. But me, I have solution to everybody. Yes. So I need to see all the humans in a different sphere of walking. Then it tells me, oh, look at that guy. Oh, I could have done this for him, and I can do this and he'll be fine. Look at that person over here. Oh, this one, I can do that. So when I come home, I have a lot of templates. I have solution.
Sure.
But I need to watch humans. Yes. I don't have to necessarily interact. So I can sit here by myself and having a drink. I'll not drink fast, I'll be here But I'll look at cars go by, look at this one go by, I'll look at this one in the sky. But I'm more of a solution-oriented person. But I need to watch spaces.
Sure.
I need to watch people to be able to reach that level.
Yeah, so that anonymity allows you to create. Okay, I like that.
I don't see problem. I always see solution.
Yeah.
Yes. Even when we are in the middle of ocean and we are about to die right now, you know, okay, we know we're gonna die, but I still believe that there's a solution. Okay. Until I get drowned fully, that I will not even know, but I still believe that, you know what, there's a solution. Yeah. And maybe the solution is I'll probably come back to life again. So my last story for everybody drowning, we say, bro, we're gonna die, but you know what? We'll come back. We're gonna reappear somewhere. So I'm that sort of person that give the last hope that it is not last. There is another life. That is how I work.
Nice. I like that. That's a good one. Okay, so you know we've learned about your journey. We've learned about the things that you're doing. Tell us a little bit more about some of your marquee works, because you have a few. You know, you have a restaurant. You have a few different projects, and then tell us about this place where we're sitting.
Well, yes, I have a restaurant myself called the Palette Kitchen. I use the name the Palette Kitchen because I started with palette. So I wanted everybody to know that this is what I have. So Palette Kitchen is situated in Osu. It used to be originally from Klagon for my sister.
Okay.
And then we moved from Klagon and we have it in Osu.
Okay, so that's where Sis is now. So
Sis is not currently there.
Oh, okay.
But you know, she's still in the industry.
Still
in the industry.
Okay.
That is the only restaurant I have for myself.
Okay.
And then having my own shop.
Yes.
All the other pieces that I've built, I built it for other people.
Okay. Yes.
And this is the current story of where I am now in my journey of wood.
Okay.
So my journey of wood now, my current story is the ark. And I never came here to build the ark. That was not the reason why I came here. I was on a show from a guy called Woody Maya.
Yes.
So Woody Maya came for an interview with me, did a documentary, and then the man I built the stuff for, his son saw the documentary and called me and said, oh, my father is thinking of building a wooden piece. So can you come and help us out? So I came and they showed me the space. From the wall to the end of here is about 13 feet to 14.
Sure, yeah.
But the back is about 18 feet.
Okay.
So the man told me this place is a very small place. So build something small for me. And I told him that this place is a very big place. So I can build something big for you.
Okay.
And then he said, oh, no, it's very small. You see, this is my place? Because he has this.
Yeah, so what we're sitting next to, what is a shopping mall?
Yes.
So it's a shopping mall, many shops, it's 3 stories.
Yeah.
And we're in front of, as Zoh Zoh explained, what would have been a side yard, right? So that's the size of the space.
Yes. Yeah. So I said I'll build you something big, and then he said, oh, okay, whatever you can come up with, but you know the place is very small. So the first design was just to build a wooden restaurant. And then when I started the framework, I called him and I asked him, this place that I want to build for you, how would you call the place? And he said, Aqua Vine.
Aqua Vine.
Aqua Vine. And I was like, Aqua Vine. Oh,
what does it mean?
What does it mean? But the aqua actually brought something in me.
Sure.
The water. Okay.
Yeah.
But the vine is what I'm struggling with.
Yeah.
But I like to build monuments for people that has a relation to the name.
Okay.
I don't like to build things out of place.
Yeah.
I'm a storyteller. So I don't want to just build stuff. I want the thing to have a story. So I told him that Aqua Vine, I'm not too sure. But if you like Aqua Vine, then I'm gonna build you a ship on water.
Voila.
Okay?
Yeah.
And then the vine will be maybe some greens, some
stuff over here.
And then he said, oh, okay. Okay, that sounds good.
Uh-huh.
So I had by then constructed the rectangular shape,
Okay.
without the arc not being there.
Sure.
And then he said, so, but how are you going to turn it into a ship or a boat like? I said, I'll do it. If you want that, then I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
So he said, okay, you know what? I think I'll like it. So you do it.
Yeah.
So I came one morning, I told my boys, we are going to turn the thing into a boat.
Uh-huh.
And then they said, oh, boat. I said, yes. How are we going to do it? I said, don't worry, we'll do it.
Yeah.
So I put all the stuff down, we did all the marking, how to do how to make sure that we can rise gradually, So I went to stand over here. If I'm not getting the rise, I'll come back, we have to do a cutting again. So by the time we finish, the arc formed.
The bow of the ship.
Yes,
Yeah.
and when we started building that, that's where everybody walked past and they said, oh, the guy is building the Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
So okay, they're giving a name already.
Uh-huh.
So the man came and he saw it and he said, wow, this is beautiful, I like it. This is how the concept came about.
Okay. Yeah.
But when we put everything together, then I said to myself, maybe this is like a reincarnated boat or a boat that was actually meant.
That mystical
side of it.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So I started researching into black people ancient life in Kemet.
Okay. Uh-huh.
And to see the life of what boats did.
Because,
canoes.
And so to your point, we think about the transatlantic slave trade as
Yes.
the leader in ship technology and sailing, and actually Africans were sailors long
time
before.
ago.
Yeah.
So I came across the discovery of the boats in the tomb of Tutankhamun. Then I came across the discovery of the boat in Pharaoh Khufu's tomb. Then the story get deeper. So by the time I finished, I came here, I stood here and I watched and I told myself that once upon a time, the sea was here and the boat came to dock. The sea has moved away and people have come around the boat. But the boat is old. We have refurbished the boat to its modern state.
Sure.
And it is still has been given it rugged feel.
Yeah.
But the boat has been tilted to, sitting down here, has been tilted to this side 1 inch more.
Okay.
To show
resting
that
a little bit.
it's been here for a long time. So I am thinking that it is the African story to tell the story again of how our people migrated from the ancient world to this part. How they move on the Nile to come. I don't think they walk all the way, but they flow on the Nile and then they go into the hinterland and then they come.
Sure. And
So-
and honestly, in both directions, right? Because
Yes.
we have rich history that was even in the central and the western part of
Yeah.
Africa that also migrated.
Yeah.
I love that story. That's a great story. I feel like this is a blessed place because
Thank
of
you.
your hands on it. And so we're
Yeah.
gonna definitely put a link to it in the show notes and put a place on the map
Yeah.
so that people know to come and see your work.
Yeah.
And one of many to come visions.
One of many to come.
Yeah. And so listeners, I was able to do a tour, so I'll add that as well, a link to that, and so you'll also get to see what it looks like
so we
inside.
did the tour. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So as we start to wind down our conversation, I want to ask you, aside from the builder that is you, and you are a musician, are you a reader, a watcher, or a listener?
I'm a watcher and a listener.
Okay, so what are some of your favorite watches, and what are some of your favorite listens?
Oh. Yeah. So when you say what is one of my favorite watches,
Yeah.
does it mean that the things I watch?
Yes.
So this is me.
Yes.
Any field that I take, I want to be a master on that field.
Okay.
So when I was fully involved with music and I was doing African music, I make sure I research African music into its fullness.
Yeah.
Now, my daily food I eat is wood.
Oh, okay. You go all in.
I go all in.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do half-half.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes, I like to be a master of a piece.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't want people to ask me questions about what I do and I'm going nah.
Yes, I understand.
So that is what I eat now. So it's my first wife.
Okay.
Every other person is a second wife.
Okay. So wood is what you're watching.
Yes.
And what are you listening to?
The social, political commentary of the world.
Oh, here we go. So we've had a interesting conversation about some of these things, and I'm going to invite Zoh Zoh back to talk about those because he left a really strong impression in my mind about the way that Ghanaian government is structured.
Yeah.
And so, just very briefly, talk about your vision for what would work best.
My vision.
Yes.
For what will work best.
Yes. And this is, we have this democracy that is fairly, dysfunctional. It's not fully realized, but based on our local cultures and our local structures, you have an idea of what would work best.
Yes. If I'm given the chance.
Yeah.
And in an ideal world, if somebody gives me a platform now and say tomorrow, I want you to be the leader or the president of Ghana, I'll coin the term monocracy.
Monocracy. Okay.
That is what I will bring into Africa.
And what is a monocracy?
So monocracy is to cut across monarchy and democracy.
And so the monarchy you're speaking of has to do with our chieftaincy structure. Okay, just so that
the monarchy I'm talking about is about our chieftaincy structure, and then going into our democracy where we are now. The reason why I want to blend it and I call it monocracy, it is because that when people have been on a journey for hundreds of years, if you want to take them, if you want to take something away from them, you have to be prepared to give them something again. Otherwise, they'll get lost.
Yes.
Now, democracy itself, on its modern practice here, is a sold agenda.
Sure.
But monarchy in Africa was already practicing democracy in our own way. Consensus building was never a Western concept. When our chiefs sit together, when there is a trouble, they sit together and they have to decide who is wrong, who is right. That was being done in our chieftaincy system already. The new concept that has been sold to us, we've bought into it and we are using it differently because the education they gave us towards democracy was spearheaded from the Western view.
Right.
It wasn't looked from the inside.
Right.
So when I say monocracy, is to take the elements of good stuff in the democracy we practice now and take the element of the good stuff that are left with our chieftaincy and merge them together and let this country move.
Yeah.
But we are not going to spend money, thousands of dollars, to elect president anymore. There was never a king in Africa that was elected as a king and they spent millions. Do you understand what I mean?
Well, of course.
So before we even start our own structure in our country to elect a leader, our country always go into debt before we even start. So what we are practicing today, for 54 countries in Africa, we are all lost. We need to get back to the old style and add value to it. I'm not saying that everything about chieftaincy is perfect, because this is what people forget, that if Africa was left alone, Africa would not be the same, because we are dynamic people, would have evolved. So when you look at other kingdoms now that have been led by kings and queens, they haven't been static. They've also evolved. And most successful kingdoms in today's modern world, they do very well. And they are doing very well. So Queen of England they went everywhere and colonized people. They never left their queenship. They never left their queendom.
Well, the reason
So we
why,
left everything.
But the reason why is because they had pillaged so that they could stay in that situation, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I challenge you because in Swaziland or not Swaziland anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Swaziland, yeah.
they're having major challenges.
Yeah.
And so, is it that challenge is because it's economic, obviously, right? They've said, the king has been, patronizing only his people and leaving everyone else, out to suffer for themselves.
Yeah.
So, how do you control for, or, in this monocracy, how do you manage, the idea of who in the lineage and who actually becomes the leader, right? Because we have these land rules, and that's even like changed and modified now because and people buy chieftaincies nowadays. So how do we mechanize it in that regard?
You see, we as Africans, anything that we want to do now, which will make us stay authentic and keep our culture alive, we have elements and forces of people who, by any means necessary, would like to break it down, would like to make it not to work.
You go and come.
Would like to make it not to work. Because if we become independent and we control our states, economically, other countries will suffer.
Sure.
So nobody is willing for Africans to regain their culture.
Yes.
Africans themselves have been educated to hate themselves to that extent that they are not willing for this system in which they enjoy to go away. Because any system a group of people enjoy and they are corrupt in that system, it becomes part of them.
Yes.
So if this system goes away and monocracy is going to come, the first thing they're going to say is, oh, what happened to me? So over 500, over 400 years, Africans themselves are not willing to let this system go away because they've been part of a system that they have been enriching themselves with.
Yeah, in another country's context, right?
Thank you. So we have a lot of countries who will make sure that Africa will not go into monarchy. Because Africa goes back to monarchy, then what? We can't have access to that. We can't have access to this. We can't have access to this. So there is a lot of international economics that comes into play.
Sure.
So we as a people don't have that force to be able to even do that because we are not united enough to do that. We are not educated enough to understand the values in our own culture or our own system to be able to do that. So I'm asking, if we sit down here today and parliament is full of a lot of different tribes of people, there are 275 constituencies in Ghana, 275 parliamentarians. Are they all from the same tribe? No, they are from different tribes. But they coexist peacefully in that parliament and they make decisions for Ghana. So you want to tell me that if every tribe bring one person into parliament who was a representative of a king in his town, in that constituency, couldn't they make the same decision?
It's a valid argument. It could work, and that's why I wanted to, have the seeds of that conversation. I'd love to have you back and talk more with some other thought
275
leaders.
constituencies in Ghana. 275 constituencies. Break them into different tribes, and let every constituency have one king. Let their secretary or let that king come into parliament and represent. You have different tribes of people representing in parliament but making decisions for their own people. Which does not cost money to elect them. Because the people in the town already know which people are doing the job. If you go to any village now and you ask, I want to do this, who should I call? Oh, let's call this guy for you, he will do it. Let's call this guy for you, he will do it. But because we've been told that there is this guy over here who holds PhD in some bullshit, from University of
Yeah.
that guy needs to be the parliamentarian. The guy never lived in Ghana before. He never lived in his village. But he came with money. And he went to the village. And he shared money for everybody. And he told them, you know, my grandmother comes from this village. We were born in Accra. But my father had money. He took me to London. And I came back. But you know, I want to help you, these people here. So can you vote for me to become a parliamentarian? Yay! They vote for him. He lives in Accra. Every weekend he's in London. He goes to parliament. He talks shit because he's never lived in that village. And he is a representative of a change. He is a representative of a negative change who has never experienced his own community, who does not understand what development is about. He's been planted with a Western concept to try to come and change Africans. This is what I'm talking about. So monocracy is to really go back to the roots. Let people who do the job go into the decision-making point and let it influence the people.
Sure. Well, that's food for thought. Food for thought, Zoh Zoh, which is always the pleasure of spending time with you. Beyond that, any last words for our listeners today? Yeah,
anywhere you are, just be who you are. Do what you can do and leave the rest.
Okay, I love that one. That's wonderful. So, Glocal Citizens, this has been another episode of the podcast. You can catch us each and every Tuesday with a new episode at www.glocalcitizenspod.com or wherever you get your podcasts. And I really am going to urge you to look at the show notes and take a look at our socials for this episode because we have a really great treasure here. And so I have a video of the arc and I'm going to put links to some of his other works, most definitely. So you'll get a chance to see all of that. And I think that's all for today. So as always, bye for now.